Hello and welcome to Woke Watch, which today is coming from the spare room because it is absolutely pissing down outside. Woke Watch is an ongoing series of videos where I find woke stories from around the internet, and together we can pick them apart to expose the ideology for the madness it truly is. And a story in the news today comes from here, not my spare room, but Staffordshire, the county I live in. It concerns the Royal Stoke University Hospital, which isn't performing very well. It's currently ranked 102nd out of 120. And to be clear, at no point in this video am I having a go at frontline NHS staff, the hardworking nurses, porters, cleaners, the people who are essentially working with a broken system. But the management at this hospital have decided to spend taxpayers' money to demonstrate how progressive and bloody woke they are. So rather than reducing patient waiting times or curing the sick, which I thought was the main purpose of a hospital, this banner is now on display at the main entrance. I was going to drive down and see it for myself, but then I remembered that Stoke Royal, like every other hospital in England, has truly ruinous car parking charges. It depicts 21 flags for 21 different sexualities or gender identities. Now, as much as it's relevant that someone's sexuality may explain why they're in hospital, surely a medical setting is the one place where the whole gender ideology made-up nonsense shouldn't apply. Generally speaking, human beings are only available in female or male. So, in a hospital setting, if there's a man in a dress insisting he's a woman, and a doctor has to say to this individual, "Madam, we've got your test results. I'm sorry, you've got testicular cancer," it makes a mockery of the entire profession. Not only that, but I think that banner could go either way. Because if there's only 21 genders and sexualities, that won't be enough for the extreme woke far left. They'll be screaming, "It's not inclusive. What about the 4 million genders we made up yesterday?" And also, I think it'll be a dog whistle to hardline Islamists. The idea that gay people are being made to feel welcome rather than being stoned to death. There may as well be a small sign under that banner reading, "Jihadis, please detonate yourself here." So here is the full list, and I'll go through a few of them. One of them I'd never heard of is demisexual. And someone who's demisexual is a person who only feels sexual attraction once they have a deep emotional connection with the other person. Aren't those people just called women? Now, that's a stereotype I'm painting with a broad brush. Of course, some women are absolute slags. It also includes the asexual pride flag. Now, when has anyone been persecuted for not being sexually active or having sexual desire? I can't imagine a father shouting at his teenage daughter, saying, "Listen here, my girl. Whilst you live under my roof, you live by my rules. You get out there and fuck as many different men as possible. I don't want to hear that my daughter isn't a cock-hungry cum slut. Put on your most revealing clothes, my girl. You go out there and you don't come home until your genitalia looks like a ham sandwich that's been hit with a cricket bat." The list also includes the straight ally flag. Now, that one applies to me. That's for straight people who advocate for gay rights, which I've done for most of my adult life. No one gets to pick their sexuality, so no one should be judged on it. But I've never thought I need a fucking flag to represent me. That I'm not going out doing what was colloquially known back in the 1990s as queer bashing should be evidence enough. So why does any of this matter? Well, in the UK, we're constantly told that the NHS is underfunded, and we're told that by NHS high-ups and government ministers. Yet the budget for the National Health Service last year was an eye-watering £181.7 billion. That's 226 billion US dollars. That's a lot of money. And if that isn't enough, then why is a single penny being spent on non-vital woke crap? Just last year, some hospitals were issued guidance that everyone who comes into that hospital as a patient between the ages of 13 and 55 must be asked, "Is there a chance you could be pregnant?" That includes me. A nurse would have to ask me, "Is there a chance you could be pregnant?" To which I would answer, "There's a chance, but it's a fucking slim one." I've got a clip coming up, which originally is around 3 minutes long. I'll show about a minute of it, which I hope demonstrates that wokeness isn't useful, well, anywhere, really, but in particular not in a medical setting. We're about to see an American woman having a meltdown because a colleague refers to her as she rather than they.
I tried calling friends, nobody's picking up, so I just am going to dump this here. It's the middle of the day, I completely understand, but I just had a really harrowing experience at work. I have this one coworker who simply refuses to use the correct pronouns for me. I've called her out every time she misgenders me, and she just is resigned to not change. And today just broke something in me. I just snapped. I ended up yelling at her after the third time she misgendered me, and within like 30 minutes, like, I use they, them pronouns. And she got so defensive. And I just started explaining to her, like, I'm sick and tired of this shit. Like, you need to at least make an attempt. And she popped off, got upset, got defensive. What are you going to do about it? And I just said, I'm going to be really hurt and sad. Like, that's all I can do about it. And the worst part is that at that point, my boss, who claims to be so woke and, like, happy and joyous and making a safe, positive environment for everybody, gangs up on me with her and says,
I actually feel sorry for that individual. Someone whose sense of self is so fragile that when she is misgendered, or rather, she is referred to as the correct scientific gender, it brings about that reaction. Do we really want to promote that sort of behaviour inside a hospital? Because let's imagine a scenario. A person like that young woman is brought into a hospital, say, with an arm hanging off. The medical team spring into action. A doctor runs over and says, we need to work fast. Otherwise, she's going to lose her arm. To which the patient drops onto the floor and starts having a tantrum, screaming, it's they might lose their arm. At that point, I think the doctor would say under his breath, we'll let this one bleed out. I'm guessing that the vast majority of patients, regardless of their gender identity or sexuality, would much rather just be seen quickly and efficiently, rather than watching some pointless woke box-ticking exercise take place. Although I can think of one advantage, because the polyamorous pride flag is on there. So maybe there could be the situation where a doctor says to a patient, I've got your results in, I see you're in a polyamorous relationship. Well, there's some good news. In the next 3 to 6 months, at least your partners won't be left on their own. That's the end of this video. If you've enjoyed it, please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. And as ever, thanks for watching. To Woke Watch, coming to you today from the spare room, because it's raining outside and I've already got fucking soaked. Times, or fucking the line up, waiting times, or caring for the sick, which I thought was the primary purpose of that fucking wanky shit. The backlash to this, the fallout, as it were, is that... My mind went elsewhere there. I'm currently watching Fallout, so when I said Fallout, I thought of the TV show. In fact, I thought of the lead actress, Ella Purnell, I think her name is. I wouldn't say that she's attractive. I would fuck her shadow in a gravel driveway. Generally speaking, I feel... Someone's just texted me, and they can't fucking spell. I actually feel sorry for that person, because... Fuck it. Sorry for that individual. Not sorry enough that I won't put her in the video. At the end of this video, fuck it.